I'm Shandra, and I'm here to talk about running shoes today. The average person takes about 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. In your lifetime, this can add up to about 115,000 miles, which according to foot.com is enough to circle the earth 4 times. Now imagine you're wearing the wrong shoes while running or walking this distance. You're going to have some feet problems. I had a personal experience with this summer. For my work, we get free shoes every so often to try out in the store and try to sell to customers and pros and cons. They gave me shoes that pushed my feet to the outside. So while working 40 hours and running recreationally, my feet were putting stress along your metatarsals, and I actually almost got a fracture in the top of my feet. So I immediately threw the shoes away, and now I'm a little more careful when I'm selling shoes to customers. I figured this would be good information to give the class since we do have quite a few athletes in here. And if you do pick the wrong running shoe structure for your foot structure, it can lead to a lot of strain and injury. So the main points I'm going to be going over are your foot structures, cushioning and support systems, and causes of common injuries. Now your first question may be, I thought everybody's feet were the same. A lot of it depends on your arches, and as you can see up here, we do what's called the wet foot test. A lot of you have probably been camping or swimming, and you notice that when your feet are wet and you walk along the sidewalk, different people have different parts of their arch that fall or are higher on their foot. First, you have pronation, which occurs when you're flat-footed, your arches fall inwards, and it causes instability in your feet. Obesity can cause overpronation, which, as we'll get to later, causes many other problems. If you have a neutral arch, as seen in this picture, you have a smooth transition from your heel to your forefoot, and more of your weight is distributed evenly along your feet. So that causes less strain on your metatarsals. High arches cause you to supinate, which is what I did in my shoes, where you put a lot of stress on the outside of your foot. There's not as much shock absorption, and it can lead to knee and shin problems as well. For pronation, you want what's called a motion control shoe, as I have here, the nice Asics gel. The gray area on the inside of any brand of shoe is going to be a denser foam that's going to prevent your foot from rolling inward. That prevents, again, stress on your bones and shins. They also have a plastic arch underneath to keep your arch from falling. A neutral or stability shoe, I don't have an example of, but it kind of looks like the support on that, only it has support on both sides, because if your foot is already in the neutral position, you want to keep it there so it doesn't roll either way. It also has plastic underneath the arch so it's not as flexible. Then you move to what's called a cushion shoe. It does not, as you can see, have the gray area on the inside or plastic underneath the arch, so it's a lot more flexible, and it's going to allow more range of motion for your foot. Along with picking the right shoe for your foot structure, you should probably think about insoles. You have something as far as like a $10 to $20 insole that just gives you extra cushioning and arch support, to ones that are a little more shaped, that are going to be harder, like a Polyzorb or a soft sole. And they are more like an orthotic, where they keep your foot in a certain position to give you extra support. And then you have orthotics, as seen down here. Most people who get these have major feet problems, like completely fallen arches. I'm sure you've seen people who just look like they're walking on the inside of their feet. And those are prescribed by a podiatrist and cost upwards of $400, so quite pricey. Insoles are actually recommended for whichever type of shoe you get for your foot structure, because they add the arch support that you need, and a lot of common injuries are caused by a lack of arch support. One example of this is Achilles tendonitis, in which your unsupported pronation and your fallen arch leads to stress on your Achilles tendon, which can stretch out. If you add extra cushioning or support in the back of the heel of your shoe, it keeps the stress off your Achilles and even outs the pressure over your arch, so that can help that along with stretching. One common injury most people get when walking or running is called plantar fasciitis, and that occurs when the band of tissue that connects your ball of your foot to your heel of your foot is strained and stretched out, and that's also from a lack of arch support. a big factor in this, as in, we've been all talking about obesity a lot. It has a huge impact on your feet, so your arches need to be definitely supported if you're overweight, which nobody in this class has that problem. But another one is shin splints, which any runner in this class has probably had at some point. That occurs when your muscles in your shins along your tibia begin to tear, or arch, and arch support and supination causes this also. According to epodiatry.com, there's no best running shoe. Every runner's different, every shoe's different, every brand is different, and every model in every brand of shoe is different. The challenge is to match the features of the runner with the features of the running shoe so that you get a good match and you're not hurting your feet. In conclusion, by informing you on different foot structures, support and cushioning systems, and how to avoid stress-related injuries, you now know the options you have in buying a running shoe. Every shoe is not the same, and finding the shoe that fits correctly can save you from major aches and pains down the road or treadmill.